Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to create smooth wheels for scrap mechanic. This is my car. As you can see, it drives pretty smooth for a scrap mechanic car. Now, watch what happens when I switch out these wheels for regular scrap mechanic wheels. This is what it looks like to drive with the normal wheels in scrap mechanic. As you can see, it's very jumpy, it doesn't behave very nice, and it's very hard to create a nice feeling vehicle with this. You can't even drive on flat racetracks with this because it behaves as if it was an off-road car. I usually create my cars in the desert, and I was just thinking it's because the ground is bumpy that my cars always behave like this, but no, it is the scrap mechanic physics that don't behave very nicely with wheels. Now this is because the wheels are not actually round. They use something called a cylinder collider, and in basically all game engines, cylinder colliders cannot be completely round. They have to approximate roundness by using polygons, flat polygons. Now if you wanted something more smooth, you would have to use a wheel collider, which is probably what trail makers use, because the handling in that game is very smooth compared to scrap mechanic. But wheel colliders are not very modular, so they have to point in a certain direction, which is not what is the point of scrap mechanics. Scrap mechanics is very modular. You can do whatever you want. That's why it makes more sense to have just a normal collider that behaves in the default way with the rest of the environment. But there is a way to fix the problem, kind of. If I switch out these wheels for my modded wheels from ball wheels, as you can probably guess by the name, these wheels are balls. They have ball collision, and balls are round and smooth compared to cylinders. So, as you can see, it's very smooth. Still not perfect, mind you, but it's a lot smoother than the other one. Oh, you see, we're still gonna get small hiccups like that, but overall, much better, really good improvement over the previous collider, the cylinder. See? Now let me take it for a spin on the off-road to see how it behaves on the hills. It's pretty good. Still not perfect, but... Oh! Oh, there we go. I'd say this is much better than the cylinder colliders, which I have been using since I started playing this game. Now let's go to the racetrack to check out how this baby works in a real race. Let me grab my plane. There we have the racetrack. Let me just make a landing. Perfect. Get me out of here. Which button is it? After finishing my car and downloading a racetrack to see how it works, this is what I was greeted with. I was really disappointed to learn that it doesn't matter if my car drives in the desert or if it drives on a racetrack, it's always gonna be this bumpy mess of an off-road experience. You see how it jerks around and jumps? It's not very nice. So let me switch it out for the good wheels. Oh yeah. It's still quite bumpy and jumpy, but it's not half as bad as the normal wheels. This is much more acceptable. Still not perfect, but what can you expect, right? Let me take this corner. Good. Oh yeah. Much better. Now I'm gonna show you the types of wheels you can use. Apart from these wheels are called F1 ball wheel, and these are slippy ball wheel. I'm gonna show you the slippy wheels. As you can probably guess from the name, these wheels are a bit less grippy. You can slide around more on the track and drift and shit. It's pretty nice. Sometimes you don't want too much grip, especially if your car is top heavy. So that's why I created these wheels. The other wheels, they behave pretty much like the normal wheels in terms of how much friction they have. Now if you're using a lighter car, because as you can see I'm using very heavy blocks here. If I were to remove these blocks, it still works pretty good. But this is mostly because oh shit. Uh-oh. Ah! That was weird, but not my fault or the ball wheels. Anyway, it's pretty light, this car now, and the jumping is a bit worse because of that. Because heavier car, heavier wheels, they kind of mitigate the jumping a bit by themselves. But if your car is lighter, you're gonna see the jumping. When it happens, you're gonna see it quite a bit more. Now this car works pretty good still because of the slippy wheels, but if I were to change these out for the more grippy wheels, it's a bit less of a nice experience. Well, partly because of the suspension of this car, but I think it's a bit more jumpy as well. Kinda hard to tell right now, but from my experience from before, lighter car, sticky wheels create a bit more jumping. But maybe I'm wrong, because this seems pretty fine. Oh shit. I also added a couple of wheels of different sizes, so you could create more different types of cars. I haven't tested these as much, but the theory is the same. Ball collider equals more smooth. So this is I think this is the diameter of 5, but there is diameter of 1, 3, 5 and 7 of both wheel types. Well, that was ball wheels, and I hope that you will be able to create some cool cars that you can drive sports car races with, and not just off-road type of cars.